In this video, we're going to be looking at the final two learning objectives of the Unit 9 practice test. So this one, we're finding particular solutions. So in the last learning objective, we looked at general solutions. You just solve the differential equation, you have this plus c. In this one, we're going to have initial conditions that tell us the exact value. So for this one, it actually tells me the solution to my differential equation is this, and you can see that plus c is there. But it says when I plug in negative 2, I get negative square root of 2. So if I look at my equation, when y is the negative square root of 2, when x is negative 2. So from this, I got to figure out what c is going to be. All right, so negative 2, 4 plus c. I have to square both sides to get rid of these square roots. So when I square both sides, the square roots are going to go away. I'm going to get positive 2 equals 4 plus c. And as we see is negative 2. Okay. So now my equation should be plus or minus the square root of x squared minus 2. All right, now I have a couple things I have to figure out. The first thing I have to figure out is, do I choose the plus or minus? Well, if I look at my initial conditions, when I plug in a number, I get a negative answer out. So that automatically tells me I want the negative square root. So it automatically eliminates b and c. Or sorry, C, B and D. Right. All right, now the next part is, what values am I allowed to plug into my differential equation? All right, well, I need to plug in values that make this whole thing make sense. But there's one kind of small thing, is that if I chose the bigger amount of x's, there'd be x's kind of on the left that worked and f's on the right that worked. There'd be this big gap in the middle. I mean, you're talking about the solution to a differential equation. You can't have gaps in your answer. All right, so that's going to eliminate c as your answer, and a is going to be the right one. All right, so it's the biggest interval where there's no gaps in your answer. There's no weird discontinuities or anything, and for that one, it's a. All right, for this one, we're given a differential equation. We're given an initial value. I'm going to figure out its solution. So just like before, we want to get the y's on the left. So I'm going to divide both sides by y minus 2. And get the x's on the right. And now we can integrate to get rid of the dy and dx. On the left-hand side, we have 1 over something, so it's going to be the natural log of y minus 2. On the right-hand side, it's going to be x squared over 2 minus 2x plus c. Now we want to figure out what c is, so we're going to plug in our initial value. So when x is 4, y is 5. No, y is 5, so that should be a 5. And x is 4. So 4 squared is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Minus 4 times 2 is 8 plus c. This gives us c is the natural log of 3. And so now our equation looks like natural log of y minus 2. X squared over 2 minus 2x plus the natural log of 3. Just like in a previous example, to get rid of a natural log, we use the exponentials. So that's just going to give me, those are going to cancel out, and just give me y minus 2 equals e to all this. And then we want to add the 2 to the other side. And which of these looks like the right answer? Well, I definitely don't have a square root. Definitely don't have a big fraction. So which one's right between a and b? None of them have the 3, the natural log of 3 in the exponent, and that's because, like we've seen before, exponentials and natural logs are opposites. So this e raised to this natural log 3 part can cancel out and just give me that 3 at the front there. So the actual right answer ends up being b. And the reason a is not the right answer is we have a 2 instead of a 4, and there's kind of nothing there, so a is not right. All right, this one, same thing. They give us our differential equation. Our first thing is to get the y's on the left and our x's on the right. This one actually takes a step before we do that, because you see the y's are kind of in 2 different places. What I can do is factor out a y squared. That's going to have 1 minus x squared. And now that the kind of y's are separate from the x's, I can divide by y squared and multiply by dx. So that then I can take antiderivatives. On the right-hand side, we're going to get x minus x cubed over 3 plus c. On the left-hand side, we have to remember that 1 over y squared is y to the negative 2. So when we take the antiderivative, we add 1 to get y to the negative 1 and divide by the new exponent. Generally, we don't write things with a negative exponent. This is the same as negative 1 over y. We know when we plug in 3, we get 1. So negative 1 over 1 equals 3 minus 27 over 3 plus c. Subtract 3. Let's see, that's 3 minus 9 is negative 6. So we're adding 6 to both sides to get 5 equals c. So that gives us negative 1 over y equals x minus x cubed over 3 plus 5. All right, and how are we going to solve for y? The first thing I would do is multiply both sides by y. And then divide by all of that. So our answer should be negative 1 over x minus x cubed over 3 plus 5. And you see none of these answers match up. There's no 1/3 power in our answer, so that's definitely not right, or no 1/2 or exponential, so that's not right. So which of these is going to be right? Well, you'll see that this one, the x cubed part, doesn't have a fraction, so what we can do is multiply everything by 3. We multiply by 3, we'll get negative 3 on the top, we'll get 3 x's, the 3's will cancel, and we get plus 15, and that's exactly b. So just kind of getting rid of that fraction within a fraction gets you down to the right answer. Short answer, same idea. Y is on the left. Here we just multiply by y. X is on the right. So we can take antiderivatives. Antiderivative of y is going to be y squared over 2. It's going to be x squared over 2 plus 3x plus c. And then we're going to plug in negative 2 for x and 6 for y. 36 divided by 2 is 18. And this is going to be 22 equals c. So c equals 22. So now we have y squared over 2 equals x squared over 2 plus 3x plus 22. And we want to solve for y. So the first thing I do is get rid of that fraction, multiply everything by 2, and then take square roots. All right, now when you take the square root of both sides of an equation, you should get a plus or minus. And our final answer, we need to decide, do we want the plus or minus? When I plug in a number, I get out a positive number. All right, so I want to keep the positive square root, and this is our final answer, just the positive square root of x squared plus 6x plus 44. So our final learning objective is 7.8, which is about exponential models. You could solve these questions all like we did the last 2 learning objectives as a separable equation, but the more straightforward way is just kind of know what the solution is going to be. So this one, all right, optimal conditions, the rate of change of a certain organism is proportional to the population at time t. So the rate of change is going to be dp dt, and it's proportional, we saw in the very first learning objective, means k, to the population, dp. So this is our differential equation. You could solve this by hand, but the thing for this learning objective, it's going to go a lot quicker. You just know that the solution to this is always c e to the k t. Right. This k and that k would be the same value if we knew what it was, and this variable always goes in the exponent there. All right, now they tell us a couple things. They tell us at time 0, the population is 300. So population is 300 when the time is 0. Doing some simplifying, that tells me c is 300. So now my equation is p equals 300 e to the kt. And now it tells me at time 24, the population is 1,000. So population is 1,000 when the time is 24. Now to solve this for k, all right, k is the thing we want to find in this equation because that's the other part of our equation we don't know. First, I divide both sides by 300. That's going to give me 10 over 3 equals e to the 24k. How do I get rid of that exponential? We talked about that a lot in this set of videos. To get rid of an exponential, you do the opposite, which is a natural log. All right, so I'm going to get the natural log of 10/3 equals 24k. And now I divide by 24 to get the k value. So k is now by itself, and it's natural log of 10/3 divided by 24 times 1 over 24, either one. Now the last thing is at what time is the population 500? So now we know the population is 500. And that's equal to 300 e to the, I'm just going to write k again instead of writing all this, but we'll know at the end k is equal to this thing, kt. And here we're trying to solve for t, because we want to know at what time is the population 500. So again, divide both sides by 300 to start. So that's going to be 5/3. To get rid of the exponential, again, we take the natural log. Now, keep in mind, we know what k is. I just didn't write it because it's kind of a weird thing. But here to get rid of, we want to solve for t, so we need to get rid of k, so we divide by k. So t is going to be the natural log of 5/3 divided by that k. So I kind of just plug that in there. We'll see that the answer is D. All right, this one, again, word problem, so you can kind of pause the video if you want to and read through it. But the important thing is they're telling us the differential equation looks like that, which again, if this value is here and here, and you just have some proportional constant k, then that tells me the solution has to be ce to the k, kt. Which one of these has that form? It's A. So there's really no work to do in this one. It's really just knowing that if the equation looks like this, the answer has to look like this, and only one of those is in that form, and that's A. All right, 23 is more like 21. All right, we know the rate of change of something, so the rate of change is d/dt. All right, the amount per time is proportional to the amount remaining. All right, so again, that's the same formula we're working with when we have that just constant times A. So our answer for A is CE to the KT. All right, they tell me at time 0, I have 12. All right, so that's going to tell me my formula is now 12e to the KT. All right, that basically just tells me what the C value is. If you know your initial value, that's C. At time 4, the amount is 4 moles. So now 4, go to 12e to the k times 4. This one we're going to solve similar to the other ones. We're going to divide by 12 first. That gives you 1/3 equals e to the 4k. To get rid of the e, we use the natural log. And we divide by 4. And at what time t is the amount equal to 3 moles? So this is just like the other one. Now we know it's 3. Again, just because k is a kind of a weird thing, I'm going to keep it as a k for now, but we're trying to solve for t. Divide both sides by 12. It's going to be 1/4 equals e to the kt. Get rid of the get rid of the exponential by using the natural log. Natural log of 1/4 equals kt. And divide by k. So t is going to be the natural log of 1/4 over that k value that we found. All right, now the question is, none of our answers look like this. Well, chances are with natural logs, it's not going to be A or B. Chances are they're not going to simplify that nicely. All right, so let's actually write out what t is and see if we can simplify it down to one of our answers. All right, so t is the natural log of 1/4 over the natural log of 1/3 over 4. Dividing by this fraction the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, so that's going to give me 4 natural log of 1/4 over natural log of 1/3. And chances are, by looking at it, you might be able to guess that the answer is D, but here's the actual reason why it's D. All right, 1 over 4 is equal to 4 to the -1. And there's a rule for log, so if you have an exponent inside of your log, you can bring it to the front. So I could rewrite this as -4 natural log of 4 over negative natural log of 3. Then the negatives are going to cancel out, and that gives you d. All right, so that's how you could actually simplify it using all your steps, just knowing some rules for natural logs. But once you get it down to here, you might be able to guess that d has to be the right answer because the 4s are on the top and the 3 is on the bottom. And our short answer, are trying to find the solution to this differential equation if we know the initial value. Well, because it's 5y, it's proportional to y, our answer is going to be, but remember this k here is the same as this k, so that right away tells me that this is ce to the 5x. And if I know the initial value, this value ends up being c, so my final answer is 200 e to the 5x. Again, you could plug things in and figure all this yourself, but just kind of knowing these things makes it go quicker. All right, so that's our Unit 9 practice test. Again, there's kind of 3 big topics. There's general differential equation knowledge. That's our first 2 learning objectives, so just kind of knowing how to make a differential equation and how to make sure something is a solution. The next big thing is slope fields, which is that 3rd learning objective and knowing how to use those. And the last 4 all have to do with solving separable equations. So getting your y's on one side, your x's on the other, and taking integrals. All right, technically this last one, you don't need to do that because you just know the pattern of the answer, but it's still a separable equation. You're still technically solving it. All right, so those are our 3 big topics for this unit test.